I used to hate washing dishes. And when I say hate, I don't mean, oh, what an annoying chore, I'd rather watch YouTube. I mean, I could have an archaeological site developing in my sink. A stinky Mount Everest. I would do almost anything before I washed the fucking dishes. For years, I assumed the obvious explanation was that I was just a lazy pig. Except there was one problem with that explanation. Washing dishes isn't actually difficult. It takes 10 minutes, sometimes 5. You put soap on a sponge, move the sponge around, rinse the thing. Congratulations, civilization has been restored. I've done much more difficult things voluntarily. So why did this completely trivial activity produce such an absurd amount of resistance? Eventually, I realized I wasn't resisting washing dishes. I was resisting what washing dishes meant. Somewhere along the way, it had become attached to a role. The good girl, the responsible woman, the person who keeps the house tidy because that's what a proper woman does. The obedient little domestic creature who sees a dirty plate and immediately gets to work. So every time I looked at the sink, there weren't just dirty dishes sitting there. There was also an instruction. Be good, be responsible, do what you're supposed to do. And some part of me responded to that instruction with absolutely fucking not. From the outside, this looks irrational. You are now maintaining a growing ecosystem in your kitchen because you refuse to spend 10 minutes cleaning it. But inside that structure, it actually makes sense. If washing the dishes means obedience, then not washing the dishes becomes resistance. The dirty plates stop being dirty plates. They become evidence that you haven't surrendered. This is where I think a lot of discussions about procrastination become useless because they start with the assumption that the task itself is neutral. You have a task, you don't want to do the task, therefore we need to figure out how to make you do it. Maybe you need a planner. Maybe you need a morning routine. Maybe you need to break it into smaller steps. Maybe you need to stand in front of a mirror and announce that you are now the kind of person who washes one plate at a time. Or you could ask a much more useful question. What exactly does doing this thing mean to you? Actions don't exist in a cultural vacuum. Cleaning can mean being a good woman. Working 12 hours can mean being a serious person. Going to the gym can mean being disciplined. Answering every message immediately can mean being a good friend. Cooking can mean being a good wife. Getting excellent grades can mean being a good child. Once an activity gets fused with a role, you're no longer deciding whether the activity itself makes sense. You're deciding whether you're willing to become the person represented by it. And rebellion doesn't necessarily get you out of this structure either. Suppose the rule is good girls wash the dishes. Fine, I'm not a good girl. Fuck the dishes. It feels like freedom because you're doing the opposite of what the role demands, but your behavior is still being determined by exactly the same command. The role says, wash the dishes, so you don't wash them. That's not autonomy. That's obedience with a minus sign in front of it. You haven't removed the instruction, you've inverted it, which is why rebellion can become every bit as rigid as conformity. If somebody can tell you what a respectable person does and reliably make you do the opposite, they still have a very effective way of controlling your behavior. They just need to reverse the sign. What changed for me was surprisingly boring. Washing dishes stopped meaning anything. I don't wash them because I'm a good woman. I am definitely not applying for that position. I don't wash them because I'm disciplined, mature, responsible, or because cleanliness is next to godliness or whatever Victorian shit somebody wants to attach to a sponge. I wash dishes because I want clean dishes. That's it. Dirty object, water, soap, clean object. I want to cook something without first excavating the kitchen. I want to have a clean cup when I make coffee. I prefer being in the kitchen when it doesn't look like a landfill. Once the roll disappeared, most of the resistance disappeared with it. Nothing about the physical task changed. Same sink, same plate, same boring sponge. The symbolic layer disappeared. This distinction is useful because autonomy doesn't necessarily look like rebellion from the outside. Two people can be doing exactly the same thing for completely different reasons. One woman is washing the kitchen floor because a good wife keeps a clean house. Another is washing it because she dropped tomato sauce and doesn't want to walk through tomato sauce. Visually identical behavior, completely different structure. The first action is organized around a role. The second is organized around an actual condition in the environment. And the same applies in reverse. Refusing to clean because women are expected to clean isn't necessarily autonomy either. You're still negotiating with the role. You're still asking it what behavior counts as submission and what behavior counts as rebellion. The role is still setting the coordinates. The more interesting move is to remove it from the equation altogether and look at the actual situation. Do I want this place clean? How clean? Why? What does cleaning accomplish? Is the result worth the effort? Maybe yes, maybe no. Maybe I want the kitchen spotless and my desk looking like an explosion in a stationary warehouse because that's actually convenient for me. None of this requires a moral theory. It's just an engineering problem involving your environment and your preferences. I suspect this mechanism explains a surprising amount of behavior that gets labeled as laziness, lack of discipline, immaturity, or avoidance. Sometimes people aren't avoiding the activity. They're avoiding conscription into a role. The activity has become one of the rituals by which the role is performed, so doing it feels like agreeing to the entire package. Then somebody comes along and says, "You really need to work on your discipline," which is excellent because now we've attached a second moral role to the first one and somehow still haven't washed the fucking plate. A useful test is to remove the audience completely. If nobody could see me doing this, nobody could praise me for it, nobody could judge me for not doing it, and it said absolutely nothing about what kind of person I am, would I still want the result? Would I want the clean kitchen? Would I want the finished project? Would I want the stronger body? Would I want to call this person? Would I want to learn this thing? Once you strip away the identity contract, you can finally evaluate the action itself. Sometimes the answer is yes, and the task suddenly becomes much easier because it has stopped functioning as a loyalty oath. Sometimes the answer is no, and you discover that you never wanted the result in the first place. You only wanted to avoid the consequences of refusing the role. So the point isn't really how to become the kind of person who does the dishes. I think that's exactly the wrong question. The useful question is why washing a plate ever needed to say anything about what kind of person you are. A dirty plate is a dirty plate. It doesn't know whether you're a good girl. It doesn't know whether you're responsible. It isn't disappointed in you. It has some dried pasta stuck to it. Once it becomes just a plate again, washing the fucking thing gets surprisingly easy.